Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And we coming at you. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Hope you had a great weekend. We're going to get this week started right. Let's rock. Knicks family, what's going on with you? I'm glad you guys are joining me. 10:30 in August 19th on a Sunday night just to talk New York Knicks when there's not a lot to talk about, but we're going to find something to talk about. We always do. You know what I mean? We always do. Glad you guys are joining me. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Had a decent weekend. Got a lot of rest this weekend. Been gearing up for this week. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot of things I'm rocking with this week. Quiet money, you said I'm late. Nah, B. I'm not late. Go check. All the information is 10:30. Sunday night, Thursday night. Sunday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night at 10:30. Never late, bro. Never late. You know what I'm saying? It said the hairline crispy. Yeah, just got it cut. You know, getting ready for the week. Gearing up for the week. I expect it to be a good week. Strong, positive week, productive week, getting a lot of things done, you know what I mean? A lot of things, so. Really don't have many stories to tell to start off, besides the fact that I had a very good weekend, you know what I mean? So we might as well just jump right into it. Talk about Courtney Lee. We talked about Courtney Lee a couple episodes ago, right? We talked about the possibility of Courtney Lee being traded to OKC. And I guess the possibility is still there. But it seems as though the New York Knicks at this very moment are definitely, or within the last week, from what I read, within the last week, has looked into trading Courtney Lee. And two of the primary teams that they've looked to negotiate a trade with have been Washington, which surprises me. But who knows? You know, there may be something that they want from Washington, or maybe Washington is just really interested in Courtney Lee. And then Philadelphia. Philadelphia has been a place that we've spoken about before. You know, I don't know exactly. We're going to take a look at it. You know, we're going to look at how a trade would impact the team now and going forward. We're going to look at, you know, how trading Courtney Lee would impact the salary cap, depending on what the Knicks would do. We're going to look at how it would impact the roster, because it would definitely have an impact on the roster and where certain players may play or get a lot of minutes. You know, Siobhan, thank you for the super chat. You said Zion is looking like candy, bro. Top 2 pick easy. Maybe. And you know what? Look, if the pundits and analysts have it correct, and the Vegas odds and all that kind of stuff have it correct, then the Knicks might be in that top 2 pick, right? Because we're expected to be one of the worst teams in the league, but the players don't feel that way naturally. The players don't feel that way. The players feel like they can come into this season and do something. You know, and you guys know how I feel. If we can win, if we can come in, if we can have a strong start to the season and contend for a playoff spot, I'm all for it. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we have enough talent to do so. Not at this moment. I think that, you know, our young guys got to develop a little bit, get stronger, learn to play the NBA game, those type of things. But if we can contend for a playoff spot, I'm 100% for it. Trust me. You know, but you know, this whole Courtney Lee thing, it is, I don't want to say shaping up like Melo, but I'm sure the Knicks want to move him before training camp. If they're pushing this hard to move him, then let's get him out of there before training camp begins. The last thing that I want to have is distractions coming into training camp. Even though we're only dealing with, young guys, and we're not looking at having a playoff run. Like I said, you never know, but we're not. It's not an expectation right now that we have a playoff run. And still, I want the players to be focused. I want the players to be focused on development. I want the players to be focused on learning David Fizdale's system. I want David Fizdale, the developmental staff, Scott Perry to be focused on building the culture, holding players accountable. Of course, Scott Perry and Steve Mills are going to be always working towards trades and working towards bettering and upgrading the roster. But I want to start training camp fresh. I don't want to start training camp with something looming over top of us. You know what I mean? I just don't want to start that way. And I understand the last show, Tony Crow made a good point. He said, Courtney Lee is not the kind of guy you want to rush because he's a good leader. Obviously, he can play some basketball. He can perform well on the defensive end of the floor. He can perform well on the offensive end of the floor. So he's a guy that can definitely contribute. He's not going to complain. He's not going to cry. You know what? Maybe at the end of last year, he wasn't. His mind maybe wasn't fully into the team, right? He had a death in the family. The team was horrible, so on. That can definitely affect the player. But Tony Crow had a good point. Let's not rush it. Let's not rush it. Let's give it some time. Because maybe we can use him later on. Maybe we can, the more time we give, maybe we can pull in something better. But at the same time, if the purpose and the focus is to develop our young players, do we want Courtney Lee taking up that roster spot? Do we want Courtney Lee taking up minutes? So that's another question. And I think if the Knicks are really pushing and looking to trade Courtney Lee, really looking to move him, then that's what's on their mind. They don't want to take up that roster spot, right? They don't want to use minutes on Courtney Lee, because if Courtney Lee is here, you got to play him. It would not be right to sit Courtney Lee, in my opinion. It just wouldn't be right to do that to him. He's been a good soldier while he's been here. He's been professional. He's played hard while he's been here. He's been everything you can ask of an NBA player. It would be wrong on the part of the team to sit him and just let him sit at the end of the bench because we want to play young players. So it may be the best for everyone, the Knicks, whoever he goes to, and Courtney Lee, to move him now. So that we can make space for young players to play. Make space for young guys to play. And if Courtney Lee does get moved, how does that impact the roster? Because it will, depending on who we bring in. You got a guy, that we signed to the G League that could possibly use Courtney Lee's roster spot if Courtney Lee is traded. Especially if Courtney Lee is traded and we bring back players that we would much rather waive, right? Then you could look at Trier maybe coming up and not really, excuse me, man, my eye, got something in my eye. Maybe Courtney Trier not coming up and taking Courtney Lee, Trier coming up and not taking Courtney Lee's minutes, but moving into that shooting guard slot that would then be available. So a lot of things can happen, and we're going to discuss them tonight. We're going to talk about it a little bit tonight. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is the salary. How would that impact us if we trade Courtney Lee? Okay, so let's just take a look, and I'm going to open up the lines, and I got a couple guys right now. I got Isaiah, I got Nate, I got Aunt G, I got Ruben in the video chat. I'm gonna get to those guys in a little bit. You know what I mean? But I just want to take a look quickly at salary. before we even go into salary cap. I mean, before we go into how it impacts our salary cap, we're just going to take a look at our salary right now, right? And what our salary cap looks like and so on so far for the season. All right, so we'll just pull this on over here. All right. Right now, with the current payroll for 2018-2019, the Knicks are at $107 million. All right, $107.5 million for the most part. Okay. And as Cantor makes $18 million, this is his last year on his contract. Joakim Noah, $18.5 this year, $19 in 2019-2020. There's a good chance that Joakim Noah will not be on the roster at the start of training camp. Right? He may, very good chance, I believe, that he's going to be stretched, especially with what we discussed a couple of episodes ago, that if the Knicks stretch Joakim Noah in September, then if they strike out in free agency in 2019, they can pay out Joakim Noah's contract, and it's just like they never stretched him at all. It's just like they just bought him out. All right. So I do believe Joakim Noah is going to be stretched come September 1st. That way, that gives him maximum flexibility and salary come 2019 free agency. And like I said, if they strike out, they can make it right by buying out his contract for 2019-2020, and Joakim Noah's gone. Courtney Lee, the guy in question, $12.2 million this year, $12.7 million in 2019-2020. To me, it's not too bad for a guy that averages, what's he average, about 12 points, 3 or 4 or 5 rebounds a game, and a couple of assists. Not bad for a guy that can also play defense. He can be a two-way player. He can definitely help a team that's in the playoff run, and could possibly be pushing for a championship or Eastern Conference or Western Conference Finals run. I think Courtney Lee would be a great addition to a team like that, especially a team that has a vacancy at that position. Lance Thomas. Okay, Lance Thomas makes $7 million this year, $7 million next year. And somebody just joined us in the chat. Of course, it's Who's Mark who comes in and has his sound loud. Right? Of course it's Who's Mark. Who else would it be but Who's Mark, who comes in disrupting what I'm trying to talk about? Would be nobody but Who's Mark. But let's get back to it. All right, we're going to get right back to it. All right, Lance Thomas, again, $7 million this year, $7.5 million next year. Mario Hezonja is on a 1-year deal for $6.5 million. Porzingis, $5.6 million this year, or $5.7 million this year, $7.5 million next year. His, contract extension and all that stuff is up in the air. It's all up in the air. Okay, I'm not even going to go deep into that right now because the question is, of course, going to come up. Do you give him whatever? We're not going to go into Porzingis right now. Ron Baker's on the last year of his deal, to the delight of many. $4.5 million this year. Emmanuel Mudiay, $4.3 million this year. 5.7 next year with the qualifying offers, 5.7. So whatever happens with Mudiay this year, it's going to depend on what happens next year. Because if the Knicks refuse to give him a qualifying offer, he can be a restricted free agent, I believe, or unrestricted free agent. And I don't know what Mudiay will get on the market if he doesn't have a good year. If he doesn't have a good year this year, Mudiay is probably going to be a lifetime backup. If he doesn't prove himself this year. This is a big year for Mudiay. So I expect him to be putting in work. I hope that he's putting in work. I haven't seen it as much, but that doesn't mean he's not doing it. Just because other guys are putting out videos and those type of things and Mudiay really hasn't, doesn't mean it's not working. So let's hope that he is working. Frank Ntilikina, he's on the books for a while. Okay, $4 million this year, $4.8 million in 2019, $6 million in 2020, 2021, $8 million in 2021, 22. He has it for 2019, 20, 2021 is a team option. In 2020, 2021 is a qualifying offer. So we'll see how that works out. Very team-friendly contract. Kevin Knox is on the books until 2022, 2023, of course. $3.7 million this year, $4.3 next year, $4.5 in 2020, 21, 21, 22, $5.8. And then in the qualifying offer in 2022, 23 is basically $8 million. You got Trey Burgers on the books for 1.7. That was a team option for this year, 1.7. Von Lay signed for a year, 1.6. Luke Cornett signed for a year, 1.6. Damian Dotson, 1.3. Isaiah Hicks and Alonzo Trier are on a G League two-way contract. All right. So now you see the roster. Then Mitchell Robinson is going to, I believe he already signed. It's not here. I forgot what his contract is. But right now, with what you see on the screen, the Knicks are at $107 million. All right, $107.4 million, $0.5 million. That's where the Knicks are right now. I believe that puts them about $6 million over the salary cap. So they would be in luxury tax. If I'm Scott Perry, I'd be trying to find a way to get out of the luxury tax for a team that is not going to make the playoffs, a team that will most likely not contend. I do not want to be in the luxury tax. That's just me. So if I'm looking to trade Courtney Lee, I'd be looking for a way to shed some of that salary if it's possible. I'm not sure if it's going to be possible, but I'd be looking for a way to shed some salary. Don't know if you can though. As a matter of fact, we'll look at Spot Track. Take a look at Spot Track. So Spot Track. Okay, so Spot Track has the Knicks with an active cap of 110 actually, and we'll take a look at Spot Track, see how it breaks down, because that may include Mitchell Robinson, right? So right now the Knicks are like $8 million over the luxury tax. I mean, over the cap. It puts them in, they have a $13 million luxury tax cap space. Whatever, I'm not even exactly sure what that means. But what we know is that the Knicks are over the cap right now. So with me trading Courtney Lee, if I could, I'd be looking to see, is there a way I can get out of that luxury tax threshold? See if there's a way that I can reduce my salary cap for 2019, 2020, or 2018, 2019. Not sure if it's going to be possible. Let's see what Spot Track has. Let's break this down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so they got Noah Von Lee's on the book. Mitchell Robinson's on the books for 1.48. 1.5 million dollars this year. All right, so they have Mitchell Robinson's salary. Kadeem Allen has, he basically just has a training camp invite with whatever they're paying him. So, there's a salary cap situation for the Knicks right now. All right, that's the situation for the Knicks. How does a Courtney Lee trade impact it? Well, for one, if it's possible for the Knicks to move Courtney Lee without bringing back salary or bring back less salary, the only way that they can not bring back salary is if they can find a team that has salary space remaining where they can suck up Courtney Lee's salary. I do not think there's going to be a team like that available. The Kings, maybe the Kings. And we can take a look at the Kings' salary situation as well. As a matter of fact, let's do that. All right. So that would be beneficial. That'd be really beneficial for the Knicks to not have to pay any luxury tax money in a year that you know you're developing, you're rebuilding, and you're not making the playoffs. And if you do make the playoffs, and if you end up contending for the playoffs, then that's even better. All right, so let's take a look at the Sacramento Kings. Wow. So currently, right now, the Kings, The Kings 2018-2019 payroll is 83 million. 83 million, 83 million, 83.5 million. That's what I'm trying to say. Do they need or want Courtney Lee? And would you, if you're the Knicks, would you move him to Sacramento? Would that be the right thing to do? Given just to do right by the player, is it right to move him to Sacramento? Who's going to be, you're going to put him in basically the same situation that he's in with the Knicks. They're a team that's not looking to go anyplace. They're a team that has a bunch of young players that they want to develop. What would be the purpose? Unless Sacramento, unless we gave them a pick, we got Courtney Lee off the books. You know, we swapped picks or whatever it was, and then they waived Courtney Lee, and Courtney Lee could go wherever he wanted to go. Maybe it was something like that. This way, we get the money off the books. You know, we swap maybe a second round pick. Then, you know, that way Sacramento gets something out of it. I don't know. Because I do not believe that they're going to want to use him as a player. Not right now. They don't need him because they're not looking to do anything. You know? And I see some people in the chat saying, who cares what's right for Lee or anything. I disagree with you. And we can have this debate all night long if you like, but I disagree. I think when you have a player like Courtney Lee that he's done right by the team. He's a veteran. You understand his situation. I think as a team, you try to put him in the right type of situation. It sends the right message across the league. It tells other free agents that you have an upstanding front office, right? And a front office that cares about your future, cares about your career. I think that's the right thing to do, in my opinion. And I think it'll help you out in the long run. Now, I do understand business is business, and sometimes you just got to take care of business. That happens. I get that. It definitely happens in the league. But if there is a way that you can help him, help your team, and help another team, then I think you do that. You know, and you do right by the player. That's just my opinion, and we can have that debate. I'm sure some guys in the chat maybe disagree with me, but I believe you try your best to do right by the player. Now, if you work out a deal with Sacramento where you say, you know, we'll swap picks or we'll give you an extra pick or whatever it is, I don't know. You take Courtney Lee, we get to free up the cap space. Then you waive Courtney Lee, and Courtney Lee is able to go wherever he wants to once he gets waived. You know, if it's a situation like that, then maybe, you know, then maybe that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And who's Mark? He said, I'm going too deep into Courtney Lee. Nobody cares about Lee. I mean, if you don't care about Lee, you don't have to listen. You know what I mean? Because Courtney Lee is part of the team. Obviously, his contract impacts what we do in 2019. It can clearly impact what we do in 2019. So yeah, Courtney Lee's contract is important. And Courtney Lee being here at the start of training camp is important. So maybe you don't care about Courtney Lee. Maybe you just want to argue that Porzingis is the next coming of Jesus Christ. Maybe you just want to argue that Trey Burke is never going to be here. He's not going to be a long-term option. But I don't want to keep arguing the same things over and over again. Right? This is a viable conversation right now. Sorry. All right? Sorry. It's a viable conversation. But so Sacramento is there. Sacramento is there, but I would like to try to do right by Courtney Lee if it's possible. You know what I mean? And it may not be possible, but look, Sacramento, they got a lot of money that they can use. They got about $20 million that they can use to suck up somebody's contract if need be. You know what I mean? So, that could be a viable trade partner. For sure it could be. So let's see what's going on. Let's check out and see what's going on in the chat, in the video chat. I'm gonna start with Ruben. I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna start with you, Ruben. You know what I mean? And and then we'll get around to everybody else. I might come to Who's Mark last, because Who's Mark, is coming in with beef already. You know what I mean? Already coming in with beef. Ruben, what's popping, man? How you feeling?
Man, you want to come to me for your one? I got beef today, Sim.
You got beef? Uh-oh.
Like the chat, get subscribed. I got shots to fire later. Make sure I get on so I can fire my shot. I got shots to fire at you, Sim. I got shots to fire at the chat. Who's Mark? I got shots to fire, man. Everybody. But look, as far as
shoot some shots, man. Shoot your shot.
As far as Courtney Lee, again, man, I don't think Courtney Lee is our problem. We just had a little discussion in the chat about Tim Hardaway Jr. contract being more of a problem. Nate feel like we need to replace that. If that scoring, if we get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr., I personally feel like it's all about the money. And Courtney Lee was, I think, our most consistent player last year, and we're looking to move him.
But see, I don't think
if we moved him, I understand the reason it would be to clear up that money. But what we don't understand is that 8 different teams can offer 2 max players next year. 8 different teams, 2. That's not including more than half of them can offer at least 1 max player next year. So what we want to do is be in the contest, or at least the sweepstakes, to get 2 max players. The only way to do that is by getting rid of either Courtney Lee or Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract. Most importantly, clear it for the money, not for whatever happens. So we looking at Nate, trying to replace that scoring punch this year. I don't think that matters. We ain't gonna win too many games anyway. And somebody in the chat, I don't know if it was this chat or last chat, but I know I read this. If we get a top 5 pick next year, everything gonna be different as far as looking for a free agent and everything. So I want to keep in mind that is not our problem. But if we got to go or get rid of somebody, we have to. I think it should be $18 million that's owed to Tim Hardaway Jr. And let's keep Courtney Lee. I think he's needed on a team like ours to be able to compete further down the line. Why get rid of $12 million for a player who was our most consistent player?
Well, see, I think the thinking behind it is that Courtney Lee is not part of the future, and they believe that Tim Hardaway is part of the future. I'm not saying that Tim Hardaway is. I don't believe Tim Hardaway should be. You all know I'm not a fan of Tim Hardaway. But I think in the mind of Steve Mills and Scott Perry, Tim Hardaway is part of the future. And if Tim Hardaway is part of the future, and you need to move one of those contracts, then you're probably going to move the guy that's you don't believe is part of your future. And I don't believe that they think Courtney Lee is part of the future. He doesn't fit in with what's going on as far as player construction because of his age. Although I like having him around as a leader and a veteran, that I think that's very, very valuable. But I do understand where they could be coming from. You know what I mean? If it was up to me, I would move Tim Hardaway Jr. I would. I'd move Tim Hardaway Jr. because I don't believe that Tim Hardaway Jr. is this type of, for me, he's not the type of shooting guard that I want to have on the team. At least he didn't prove that to me last year. Maybe he will this year. I don't know. But I do understand the concept of why it would be Courtney Lee instead of Tim Hardaway.
So you
Jr.
feel like Courtney Lee is old now? Feel like Courtney Lee is old?
He's not old. He's 32 years old. He's going to be looking. Courtney Lee, I'm pretty sure Courtney Lee wants to win as well. You know what I mean? And I don't think that Courtney Lee is one of those guys that's just going to jump on any team to try to ride their coattails to the championship. I think he has a little more character than that, in my opinion. I don't think he's old, but by the time that the Knicks are ready to contend, he's going to be old.
Well, let me respond to you by saying something about loyalty. It was the same thing that the girl JP called in before and said we need to be loyal to Courtney Lee. Everybody was loyal. He got his loyalty when he got his money. The thing is anywhere that decides that they will take Courtney Lee is going to give him minutes. That's loyalty. So if Sacramento, you said Sacramento want him, send him to Sacramento because they wouldn't be asking for him if they didn't have minutes for him. Only thing that we need to give him minutes for, and I heard you earlier say, oh, we need to give him minutes this year. We can't do him like that. He's been, I agree. I 100% agree with that. But the reason to give him minutes is to up his trade value. Anybody that says I got minutes for him, and I think that's loyalty.
Well, see, and see, the reason why I didn't say that Sacramento was interested is just that they have, if you were looking to try to free up his salary and you could move it to a team who had cap space, then Sacramento's like the only team. Their salary cap right now, their salary is at $83 million. The salary cap is like $103 million. So they got about $20 million right there in that space. You know what I mean?
The move is send him to Toronto for Danny Green. He coming off next year. Send him to Washington for Austin Rivers. They coming off next year. Send him somewhere who can use a shooting guard off the bench, defense, 3-point shooting with somebody that's coming off next year. That's the only way. Nobody's going to absorb that money. Anybody who absorb that money probably want to play their young players.
Right, and that's why I was saying a move to Sacramento. It would make sense for the Knicks if they were willing to absorb his contract. But if you're trying to do right by Courtney Lee, then Sacramento's not the place if you're going to try to do right by Courtney Lee. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough situation. But right now it seems as though the Knicks are actively looking to move Courtney Lee. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get to a caller, Ruben. I'm gonna get to a caller. All right, and I'm gonna get back to the chat in 1 second. Let me get to this caller right here. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin', caller? How you doing?
Hey, Sim. It's Oscar.
What's going on, Oscar? How you feeling?
Hey, good. So about the whole Courtney Lee trade, I think I talked about what we could get in return for him a couple streams ago, so I think I'm just going to stay away from that. But in terms of what it could mean for the roster, I think it's a good move. It would free up a few minutes for young guys like Trier and Kadeem Allen, both guys who we need to evaluate and see if they're parts of our future. And then also, if we want to experiment with Frank at the 2, it gives us that opportunity. But more importantly, it solidifies Hardaway as a piece of our core. He would become the only established 2 on the roster, and I've heard a lot of stuff about Fizdale wanting to make him the #1 option this year until KP comes back, so it definitely helps us with the minutes distribution. As for the cap, it obviously helps, assuming we cut Lance Thomas this offseason. He's got a partially guaranteed deal for next year for only like $1 million, so that's a good move for us. And if we stretch Noah, which we're definitely going to do, it would put us about $14 million short for 2 max deals. Lee makes about 12.5, so trading him doesn't fully get us there, but it really helps us in terms of bringing in a Kyrie or a Butler type. We would need to save a bit more money to get both max slots, but maybe trading Dotson or something like that. But either way, it makes 2 max slots a possibility for us. I definitely think one of the max slots will be for KP. So if we do trade Lee, we'll have the second one to go after a superstar to pair with him. So I really don't see a downside to trading Lee.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that Tim Hardaway is part of the future? Or is the shooting guard of the future for the Knicks?
I think this year we can really, that'll be a storyline for this season. We can see, if he is going to be a part of the core, because I definitely think he has the potential. He would have been a near 20-point scorer last year if he was a better 3-point shooter. I think he shot 32%, and career-wise he's 36%. So I definitely think he's probably not worth his money, but I don't know. This season, at least for the first half until the All-Star break, we're probably going to see him as the #1 option. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if he can really help us, and we'll see if he's going to be part of the core.
Yeah, and I guess I'm waiting to see this year if he's going to be part of the core.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm giving him a pass for last year, right? He came in, it's his first time having as much responsibility as he's had.
And he played fine. He wasn't too bad.
He wasn't too bad. His efficiency, I would have liked to see a lot better efficiency from him.
Especially from 3.
Especially from 3, because that's supposed to be his calling card. But he played hard. I'll give him that. He played hard. And he was one of the few players when Porzingis went out that wasn't afraid to take the big shot in big moments. If there were big moments for the Knicks last year, right? He wasn't afraid to take the big shot. So, I give him that. And, I like to see him when he gets finally, he'll be able to be pushed back to that shooting guard position, play defense on guys that's more his size, more his speed, more his length, and have guys defending him that's more his size and length. So we'll see how he does.
Yeah.
We'll see how he does with that. Now, there might be, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but there may be a little bit more responsibility on Tim Hardaway this season.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see. But I fully get and understand why the Knicks would want to trade Courtney Lee instead of Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if we're paying him like $18 million for 4 years or 3 years now, we need to at least give him a chance. Because if we're going to pay him that much and just decide he's not a member of the core after one so-so season, what are we doing?
I hear you. Okay, I'm with you on that. Hey, Oscar, appreciate the call, man.
No problem.
Have a good one, and I'll talk to you next stream, Tuesday night.
Yep. You too.
All right, have a good one, man. Later. That's our man, Oscar, the 12-year-old prodigy. So if you guys are new, get used to it. Oscar knows his stuff, man. He knows what he's talking about. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Ring that bell. You get a notification anytime that we go live so that you don't miss it. For my man, Quiet Money, you would have known if you subscribe, you ring that notification bell, you'll know it's 10:30, my man. Sure. Let me get to another one of these calls. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin'?
Peace.
What's going on with you, bro?
What's up, brother Stem? How you feeling, man? This is Shifty Lee from Flatbush.
What's going on with you, man? I'm chilling. How you feeling? How was your weekend?
Man, weekend's good, my brother. Weekend's real good. Just want to go over a few things, man. What's the topic tonight?
So right now we're talking about how a Courtney Lee trade impacts the Knicks. Impacts the team. So,
all right.
We looked at the salary cap. We took a look at a couple of other teams' salary caps, we took a look at Sacramento's as a team that could possibly absorb his contract. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My thing with it is, Courtney Lee's kind of been a good soldier for the team, and I think, as a front office, you want to send a message to other free agents that we're going to do you right. We're going to help you. We care about you and your career. Do you want to send Courtney Lee to Sacramento and put him in the same situation that he's in with the Knicks right now? You know what I mean? And basically his situation is the Knicks are going with the youth movement. He doesn't really fit in because it's a youth movement. If he's here, you got to play him. You know what I mean? And so now he's taking up minutes from a guy that could be developing. You send him to Sacramento, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? I would just like to see the Knicks, if they're going to trade Courtney Lee, try to put him in a position where he's on a team that is contending for the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make 3 points. You know what I'm saying? One, first one I'm gonna make, Courtney Lee. He's good. He's good. Where you put him at, he's gonna be productive. But we got to make the best business move for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Whether it's sending him to a contender, whether it's sending him somewhere, he got to understand. This just the nature of the business, man. He getting paid to play basketball, which is the greatest thing on this earth. That he likes to do. So he got to understand. That's why he got to stay hungry. If he reaches his ceiling, then he had his ceiling. Another point. I was looking at a couple of things online. It was saying that they traded him to OKC.
I know you probably seen it on Wikipedia, and it had on Wikipedia that Courtney Lee was played for OKC, but he hasn't been traded yet. Right now, the reports that I've seen is that they've had conversations in the last week with Washington and Philadelphia. Right.
I heard that too. And my third point I'm going to make is about last time I listened to the show, they were talking about Kemba Walker or Kyrie.
Right.
You know, it don't make no sense getting Kemba Walker because Kemba Walker is like basically the same like Trey Burke. They're basically the same players. You know what I'm saying? The way how Trey Burke is playing right now, I don't think you want to get Kemba Walker, but you know we could. Our guy should be Kyrie. You know, I'm not worried about needs or nothing like that. You're talking about a guy that's gonna make people better. You know, I would focus on Kyrie. I would stay away from Kevin Durant. I don't want Kevin Durant. You know, he a cupcake. You know,
Yeah.
I just go for Kyrie. You know, that'll be my main focus. Kyrie would be the guy because
Okay.
you know he's not gonna take shine from nobody. He's gonna do what he's supposed to do, shine. You know what I mean, and do what he do, and then that's it. You know. But yeah, man, I listen every night, man. I always listen. I'm doing laundry now, man, but I always check y'all out, man. I listen night after night, man. Like I like the vibe, man. It's real
Appreciate
good,
it, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. No
Looking
doubt.
forward to you calling back, man. Have a good weekend. Have a good start to your week. Well, have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good start to your week, man.
No doubt, man. Peace, man.
All right,
have
peace.
a good one.
You too. Yeah. All right, let's get back to this chat because I want to ask the video chat a question. Before I do that, though, big shout out to Mighty Knicks for the super chat. Said you said big shout out to Oscar. You said, but you want to see him on video before you believe he's only 12. Come on, Marty. Kid's 12 years old, man. Just because he's smarter than you, don't get mad. Kid's 12 years old. My next question is this. There's obviously a few scenarios that will happen if Courtney Lee is traded. Right? Courtney Lee could be traded and we bring in additional players. We could bring in, you know, players that would possibly get playing time. We could bring in players and then we waive them and we open up a roster of flexibility and room to bring in players like Trier, right? Take Trier off of having a two-way contract and just sign him. That's a possibility. Right now, we have 19 players on the roster. We can take one more player on the roster, which would be 20. But of course, we got to cut it down to 15 by the time the season begins. I'm not exactly sure what that deadline is, but we've got to cut it down to 15 by that time. So clearly, there'd be some things happening with the roster if Courtney Lee is traded. If Courtney Lee is traded, one of my questions, if Courtney Lee is traded and we bring back, let's say we trade him and whoever we bring in, we waive. Right? And so we have, and when we're down to 15 players, you know, Courtney Lee is no longer here. Probably Joakim no longer here. When we finally get to 15 players, maybe you bring up Alonzo Trier. Does that push Frank to playing more shooting guard? Way more than maybe I would want him to play, because I really do want to see Frank play a lot in that one position. But if Courtney Lee is gone, now who's your backup shooting guard to Tim Hardaway? I'm thinking it would be Frank. And then maybe you have Trey Burke at the one. If Frank isn't starting at the one, Modier backing up Trey Burke at the one. Hardaway at the two. Frank backing up Hardaway at the two. Because right now you would think that Courtney Lee would be backing up Hardaway at the two and then maybe being interchangeable at the three sometimes, depending on the lineup. What happens? What happens? Nate, I'm coming to you, Nate. I want to talk to you a little bit, see what you're thinking over there. All right. You know, so try to ignore the chat right now. What's poppin', Nate? How you feeling, man?
Oh man, good. It's Sunday night, talking Knicks. Always a good time.
Always. So what do you think? What happens to the roster if Courtney Lee is traded? What happens with Frank?
Well, I'll tell you, like, you know, I've said before, I'm not a big fan of trading Courtney Lee unless the right deal comes along, because our shooting guard position scares me a lot. Like, you have Hardaway, which we don't know what he's going to be like this year. You've got Dotson, who regressed somewhat in the summer league from last year. You know, Courtney Lee, like Ruben was saying, is a consistent player. I mean, he's a professional. He can shoot the three well. He doesn't take stupid shots. I mean, there's minutes for him because, you know, I'm worried about those other two guys. And I was just saying on the chat right now that if Dot struggles early, like he did in the summer league, they would bring up Trier and probably have him back up Hardaway. I could definitely see that happening. You know, I don't see Ntilikina going to the 2 guard. I really don't want him to go to the 2 guard. He's a point guard, and I've been saying it from the get-go. He can play point guard. Just give him time.
Right. I don't want to see him go to the 2 either, but I feel like if Courtney Lee is gone, you're going to see Frank play a lot of 2, a lot.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that idea. I think I'd rather play Burke at the 2 because Burke is more of a shooting guard who can kind of, you know, move good without the ball. Frank's a distributor. He's not going to spot up and shoot off the ball and all that.
Right. Well, let me say it like this. Instead of saying at the 2, because you're right, that kind of pigeonholes him to being a shooting guard. But I'd be looking at saying he would come in for Tim Hardaway Jr., right? Whether he's playing the 1, whether he's on the ball or off the ball, he'd probably, if Trey Burke starts, let's just say Trey Burke is starting, he'd probably come in for Tim Hardaway Jr., which in essence means he's coming in for the shooting guard. Trey Burke dominates the ball anyway when he has it in his hands. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this about Ntilikina. You know, with Fizdale, if he has him right and he uses him right, Hornacek didn't use him right, but if Fizdale uses him right, which I expect him to, he's going to be guarding the best offensive player guard on the other side, period.
The best guard,
Damian Lillard,
probably.
a Westbrook, you know, whoever's kicking our butt, Frank's going to be on him like white on rice.
Right.
I mean... And so he's going to play, whether it's a 2 or the 1, he's going to be out there guarding the best, the best opponent's guard. Okay. I would be shocked if he's not. All right. Especially if Burke's out there playing point, because whoever Burke's guarding, man, good luck with that one.
I definitely agree. He's going to be out there guarding the best guard that's on the floor. It's got to. Right, it's got to. Aunt G, what do you think, man? I got you and Nate both open at the same time, so you guys can have a discussion about it.
I don't agree with Mark too much, but in this situation, we're talking about Courtney Lee,
right?
I don't think he's that big of a contributor to where if we lose him, we're gonna feel it that heavy. I don't.
But see, I don't think it's about that though. It's not about whether or not how it's gonna impact how his production is going to impact on the floor. I don't think it's about that. It's about trading him, how it impacts the salary cap and how it impacts other players.
Right, and on that front, I think we should move him at the first deal that presents itself to get us a deal that we don't have to take any more salary back. Because I'm thinking big, salary. You know, and I want to get rid of Hardaway and Courtney Lee. So,
see, I don't, and
that's my.
I have no problems with trading Hardaway. I really don't. But I don't think that I think the Knicks view him as part of the future. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. They definitely view him as a guy that is going to be part of the future.
He's still 26, Sim. I mean, he's not a bad player.
I would like him as part of the future if he was like $6 million cheaper.
But that was the market set when it was free agency, man. They always overplay players in free agency, you know.
No, nobody else was giving Tim Hardaway Jr. $18 million.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, the Nets might have knocking on that door and giving that kind of deal. They almost gave out a $100 million contract.
No, but the Nets are just as dumb as the Knicks. That's the problem.
That's my point. There's somebody else that's going to pay him.
Follow the Nets.
That's true. I mean,
well, we didn't need him then. We didn't need to pay $18 million for Tim Hardaway Jr. at that point.
But that was the going rate in free agency. That's what I'm trying to say. At the time, he was setting the market for shooting guards, and he's young, and he kind of fit what Perry wanted.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the going rate. The Knicks paid him $18 million so that they can steal him away from Atlanta, and Atlanta wasn't going to match. you know, because he was a restricted free agent, so they felt that they had to overpay him so that the Hawks wouldn't match.
They saw something in him that other people didn't see and paying that.
Yeah, but they were wrong, Nate. They were wrong. He's not worth that money.
Well, I mean,
and I liked him out of the He's a homegrown Knick. We drafted him. He's a decent player, but I think we jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Guess we're gonna see what happens this year. We'll see if
can I say one thing, Sim?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So one thing about Tim Hardaway, I think a lot of people need to really think about is that this is a new coach, this is a new system, and I think he deserves a clean slate. Because anytime you get a new coach situation, every coach says, "Hey, I don't care what happened in the past. He's on my team. I'm coaching him. I want to see what he does for me first before I make any kind of judgment." And like I was telling the people on the chat, I really think that what we should do with Hardaway is let Fizdale coach him up. Let him work with him on whatever he's got to do, whether it's better shot making, whether it's making players better. Hopefully it's his defense. You know, let's see what Fizdale can do with him half a season when trade deadline comes around. And if he's still the same Tim Hardaway that we saw last year that's taking stupid shots and is inconsistent as hell, then you know what? Trade him. You know, and I still think we can get some value out of him. But let's see what Fizdale can do with him before we pass judgment on this guy, because it's a whole new system. It's a whole new coach.
I mean,
but I agree with that. But you ain't seen too many chuckers in NBA history that been rehabilitated. Think about chuckers in NBA history. They come in the league a chucker, they leave a chucker. You know, it's his mindset.
I never heard the word chucker, man. That's the first one for me.
No, a chucker. Like he's a chucker.
A chucker.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna get to a phone call. Right quick. All right. I still got you guys unmuted. So if Mark or Ruben or anyone says anything to you, keep it quiet because I still got you unmuted. All right. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin', man?
How's it going, bro? How you feeling, man?
Pretty good. Who am I speaking with?
This is JJ from Brooklyn.
What's going on, JJ, man? What's your take on the situation?
I know you guys are talking about Lee. You know, to me, we have to get rid of Lee and Hardaway, man, because we could get 2 max contracts. We gotta, you know, hope they boost their trade value this season, and I think we can do it. I think it's possible
to get rid of both of them.
Yeah, to get rid of both, because Lee, after this year, maybe in the off season, next off season, he'll have 1 year, so he'll definitely be tradable. And Tim this year is gonna drop some points, so hopefully, you know, his value will be boosted. I know you're talking about Sacramento, but don't they have that young kid, Bogdanovich? They like him a lot. He plays the twos. He plays the twos, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, if you trade Courtney Lee, probably, I don't know. I mean, you know, for the Knicks, it'd be okay to trade him to Sacramento because you may free up some salary cap space. But then for Courtney Lee, you know, it's not that good of a thing. So. Yeah,
I know one thing real quick. I know someone in the chat room was saying Mills signed Hardaway. Mills wasn't, what's his name? Perry wasn't here yet. He didn't sign Hardaway. Remember they had, I think Mills was like the GM for the time. Perry wasn't here. He didn't sign Hardaway.
Right. It was Mills. It wasn't Perry.
It was Mills,
Mills made that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrible contract, man. Man.
Well, we got him now, and you know, hopefully David Fizdale can do something with him and help him live up to that contract. And you know, people have said,
I think he will. I think he can have a good year. But even if he does, I'm not getting suckered in. Even I don't care if he's dropping 25 a game. I want to trade it to free up cap room, man. You know.
Okay, so before I let you go, I'm gonna just ask you this. If he's averaging 25 a game, which I don't think he'll do, I think he'll be between.
No, I know. I'm saying,
right. But if he's averaging 25 a game and he's shooting 46% from the field, he's shooting 40% from three. He's playing decent average defense, right? He's just playing average defense, which I would take from him. And you know, he has a career high in assists as well, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You still trade
assistant defense are in Hardaway's vocab.
Right. I mean, but let's just say he does that this season. Then do you still trade him? Or do you say, well, maybe this is the real thing. Let's see what happens when we pair him with Porzingis and whoever we pick up in free agency, and we got a squad now. You know, it's tough to say.
It's tough. I mean, he's still young. I mean, I don't know. It would be a tough call, you know. It would be a tough call.
It would be. All right. Hey, man, I appreciate the call.
All right, man. Have a good night, bro.
Have a good one. Have a good start to your week.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, peace. Well, and just to finish off with Courtney Lee before we move on to where we're talking about Hardaway. We'll continue to talk about Hardaway a little bit. Just to cap it off, moving Courtney Lee, I think is obviously on the Knicks' radar, something that they've been trying to do for the last week or so. Speaking with Washington, speaking with Philadelphia, I'm not exactly sure what they can get from either team, because I think Scott Perry is very cognizant of making sure that the Knicks are prepared for the future, right? Prepared to participate in next year's free agency and make an impact in next year's free agency, and not cap themselves out on making stupid trades. So anything that they do, I believe, is going to benefit the Knicks financially in the next 2 years. Anything that happens with Lee, I think, is going to benefit him. And when he's gone, clearly the roster is going to be a little bit different. The depth chart is going to be a little bit different. We may see Frank play a little bit more in that 2 spot, maybe even more 3 sometimes. It can happen, right? Especially if he's 6'6", 6'7" now. You may see him play some of that 3. You may see Alonzo Trier get moved up and fill in some of that shooting guard role. I guess, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens, but it's going to have a definite impact on the salary cap. It's going to have a definite impact on our roster. But now let's continue to talk about Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway clearly is on board with David Fizdale. An article came out by Mark Berman in the New York Post that talks about Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is buying into David Fizdale's Knicks program. One thing that sticks out to me, and basically, what's in the article, right? Tim Hardaway likes what David Fizdale is doing, his attention to detail, the way he's holding players accountable. He believes that, David, his system will be able to help lead the Knicks to the playoffs. Even though everyone is doubting that the Knicks will make the playoffs, Tim Hardaway believes David Fizdale's characteristics, his leadership, his attention to detail, as I just said, will help to lead the Knicks to the playoffs. But then there's something in here that catches my eye, and let me see if I can scroll down to it. I believe it's down here at the bottom. Let's see where we are. Well, I can't find it, but in the article, it says that the Knicks expect Tim Hardaway to be a leader. And my question is, can Tim Hardaway be a leader? Does he know what it takes to be a leader? He's never been in a position before. So this is going to be another responsibility added on top of him being the primary scorer. Although in this article, he does say he doesn't know if he's going to be the primary scorer. Right? He says he's not looking at it that way. He's more looking towards a team type of a game. He expects to play a game where the ball is shared and spread around. So maybe he doesn't expect to be the primary scorer. I think he's going to be the primary scorer, at least this year. But can he be a leader? Right? The leader is not always your guy who scores the most. Some players lead by example. Some voice their opinions. Some are just professional. Can Tim Hardaway fit that slot? With Carmelo Anthony was not the kind of leader that most people wanted him to be, right? He was the primary scorer, but it didn't make him the leader. People wanted Carmelo to be like LeBron, right? Voice his opinion, be boisterous, tell people where to be and what to do on the floor. That wasn't in Carmelo's character. Carmelo was more of the kind of guy to say, let's get this group together. We're gonna go to Puerto Rico together, have a good time, and train. I'm going to try to lead by example the best that I can. He wasn't the kind of leader that a lot of people wanted him to be. But there are different kind of leaders. Like I just said, you have leaders who voice their opinion. You have leaders who do it by show it, by example, lead by example. You have leaders who develop personal relationships, and they may not be boisterous or voice their opinions loud, but they speak to people one-on-one and then try to bring people together. There are different kinds of leaders. I'm sure Tim Hardaway has some characteristics somewhere. But my question just is he a leader? Can he be a leader? Is he the guy that can lead this team? He has enough experience with New York. He played his first 2-3 years in New York. Of course, came back, played last year in New York, so he understands the temperature of the city. He understands the media. He understands the fans a little bit. Can he be that guy? I'm not sure. But I think it's a good question because the Knicks expect him to be that guy. And by the way, the article does go on to state that he has not reached out to Courtney Lee, in regards to the trade rumors or just to get a temperature of what Courtney Lee is feeling. He has not reached out to him. I don't know if you want to say he's not a good leader because of that, because maybe he doesn't feel he needs to. Maybe it's just a sign that Courtney Lee is gone and they've already spoken. In whichever way they chose to speak or communicate, I don't think it means a hill of beans that he didn't reach out to him. I just don't know if if Tim Hardaway can be a leader. Sometimes I see him and he's bratty, acts real bratty sometimes. Other times I've seen him really step up and say, I'm going to take this shot. I'll be the one to take the responsibility. Other times I've seen him spat with players on the floor over, little things. But that happens in the NBA. It happens in all levels of basketball. Players spat. So let me see what you guys think. I got a caller on the line. You're talking to New York Knicks. No, not New York Knicks. I bet you wish you were talking New York Knicks. You're talking to nothing but Knicks live right now. What's popping, man?
What's going on, Simeon? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So what do you think, man? Can Hardaway lead this young group?
I mean, I never saw him lead at Michigan. I never heard. I didn't see him ball or hear about him in high school. I don't hear anything about Lee being a leader, ever in the past. I understand his father was a great leader and a great point guard, but, this is something that you cannot sit there and teach. These are things, being a leader is something that you just have it in you, So he just, I don't see him being a leader. But as far as, I hope he does do well for us this year, because I can't see him as part of the future. I can't see another thing. A leader doesn't shoot 3 for 10 from the 3-point line. A leader would sit there and think and say, okay, maybe I'm not hitting my shots. Let me take 3 steps in and shoot a mid-range jumper. And let me get some other guys involved because my shot is not going in tonight. I just don't see it. And as far as him not reaching out to Courtney Lee, I don't expect him to, because one of them is going to go. It's either going to be Courtney Lee or Tim Hardaway. So I don't see him looking, I don't see him reaching out to him, and, him not reaching out to him also shows, that he has not shown, in any way, shape, or form that he can be a leader.
Okay. I agree with you. He's yet to show it. But also, in his defense, he's yet to be in a position where he has to be the leader. Right? When he played
professionally, yes. Professionally, yes. But he was one of the top 3 guys on his team in Michigan. You know,
right.
You had him, you had Glenn Robinson, I believe, and I forgot who else was on that team, but I didn't see any leadership there. So that's part of my reason why I feel like he can't. I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I mean, you're talking in the same conversation that I'm in. Speaking professionally, in college, you're a kid. Maybe sometimes it takes a little while to develop those. To understand that you have the skill to be a leader and then be able to use it, right? But in Atlanta, and when he first came to New York, he wasn't asked to be a leader. Didn't need to be a leader, right? When he was in Atlanta, he didn't need to be a leader because you had established guys already there. Paul Millsap, Schroeder, those guys, right? Last year when he came, that's when it was, okay, now you've got increased responsibility. Now we're looking at you to say, we're looking at you. I don't know. I can't speak about what he's done in the locker room and those type of things. But this year, now it's really Tim Hardaway is the leader. Not the leader. You got Lance Thomas. He's a leader. Matter of fact, Lance Thomas has been here longer than everyone else on the team. Right?
Right.
I think it's Lance Thomas and then Courtney Lee.
Yes, I think they're the two most tenured players on the Knicks right now. Yeah.
Right. The two most tenured players. So you definitely expect Lance Thomas. And if Courtney Lee is here, those two guys are going to be leaders. If Courtney Lee is here, which I don't expect him to be, I think Lance Thomas, Courtney Lee, and probably Tim Hardaway, if David Fizdale decides to do captains, would probably be the captains of the team. So it definitely thrusts Tim Hardaway into a new role. And time will tell if he's able to step up and be that leader.
Also, it's safe to say also, if Courtney Lee isn't a captain, then you can pretty much say he's probably not going to be in our squad for that much long.
Exactly. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. All right, man, Ryan, I appreciate the call.
I just want to say one last thing. Tim, I do hope Tim Hardaway does become that guy. But clearly our future, and people don't realize, is on our team right now. We just need time to develop. I feel like our future five is Frank, Trier, Knox, KP, and Mitchell Robinson. Those I feel like can be our five guys. You don't need Frank to average 20 a game, hell, even 15. You have enough scores on the team. His job is to be a point guard. I feel like he needs to defend well. He's clearly shown he can defend at a high level his rookie year. He just needs a three-point shot. And when things are not going well for the offense, his job is for, if we're down by 7 or down by 3, he needs to hit a jump shot for us or a 3 or something like that, or create some kind of offense for our team. That's his job. That's a point guard's job. Yeah. But that's all I wanted to say. So thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call. Have a good week. Have a great start to your week.
You too.
Peace.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, so Tim Hardaway is being thrust into a very, very new role for him. And it's going to, we'll see if he can handle it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Big shout out to Mighty Knicks for the super chat. Said he definitely agrees with Nate Dogg on Frank. Also, shout out to Siobhan Robinson. He asks, why are people still clinging on to Tim Hardaway Jr.? Hey, you know what? I'm with you, Siobhan. Although I do believe he deserves a chance. But, I'm not the biggest Tim Hardaway fan. And then Siobhan, with another super chat, said Zion at 17 is better than LeBron at 17. Don't at me. Well, I ain't gonna at you, but I'm gonna just let that sit there. I'm gonna let you sit with that one. All right, let's check out. Let's find out. Let's see what's going on in the chat right now. All right, see what's happening over here. I'm pretty sure we're having some good conversations. I might open it up. Let you guys, find out what you guys talking about. Ruben, I'm coming to you, man, so I can find out what the guys talking about in the chat. All right.
because whose Mark is really annoyed at the topic at his show. You don't even want to hear it. And honestly, please let the man get his rocks off so that we got to keep hearing him cry about it. But honestly, like nobody really thinks Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be our leader. So, Mark, what exactly did you think this we had to hear? Let them hear it.
What's up, Mark, man? What's up, Mark? What are you peeved off about? You're always mad about something.
Wait, hold on. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, yo, chat. Let me break this down for the chat room right now.
All right.
Give me a second.
Make sure you're speaking into your mic so it's clear, man, because
are you hearing me? Damn, what is that sound?
I can hear you. Come on, man. People waiting to hear what you got to say, bro.
All right, listen. Oh my God, got me tongue tied. Oh God, this Tim Hardaway. Come on. Come back to me, cause
come back.
I just messed up my introduction.
Look at you. You don't know, Rafi, man. I'm gonna come to you, Rafi.
Yeah, cause I had an introduction.
An introduction? What do we need an introduction for?
Because you gotta like it's like you gotta make an introduction to start up the topic. And they messed it up for me.
All right, man. I don't know. I can't get you up, Rafi. I don't know what's going on. We're kind of stuck a little bit. Can't get you up. Can't get anybody up. So, let me get back over here. I'll see if I can get guys up. In the meantime, I'm gonna take this call. You're live on the from the Knicks. What's popping, man?
Yo, Angie, stop. Angie, stop saying,
I need you to be quiet.
Stop, please. Scared of what?
Mark, I need you to be quiet, Mark, because we can hear you.
My bad.
I can't mute you right now.
Oh, my bad.
Caller, what's popping, man?
What's good, yo? This is Anthony. What's going on?
What's going on with you, man?
I see you have a rowdy bunch going on tonight.
Yeah, rowdy crew going on tonight, man. What's going on with you? I know you're calling to talk to me about Tim Hardaway.
Well, you know what? I see you want it, so.
Yo, Mark, someone just said you're the media of the chat, though. Oh God.
You're gonna get, I guess, what it is that you want with Timmy Hardaway. Let me ask you something, Sim. Aren't you a coach?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What do you call one of your players that gets hurt during the season, breaks a bone, serious injury or whatever, and comes back during the year?
You said, what do you call them? What do you mean?
Yeah. What kind of player is that in your eyes? If you're coaching that player and those things happen to that player and he or she comes back during the year?
I don't know. I mean, they I don't know what you call them. They be on injured reserve or whatever when they're injured.
Well, isn't that someone that you would call someone that you could show to the rest of the team that has leadership capabilities, that's actually put the team first, that worked hard enough to come back? My point is, Tim Hardaway last year, before he got hurt, was on a very nice roll, okay? Broke a bone in his leg, okay, and came back. A lot of players who's making that kind of money on a team like the Knicks that weren't going anywhere, they would have mailed it in. Of course he has leadership qualities. Look at what happened to him in his career when he had to go to the D League and fight back. Okay? This is someone who doesn't have to do that. His father is Tim Hardaway Sr., for crying out loud.
I mean, who his father is really doesn't mean anything.
No, what I'm saying is, he's not someone that's looking for his next meal. My point is that he fought to regain his career. Those are makings of leadership abilities, leadership qualities.
I agree with you. The thing to me is, listen, you're right. He fought to save his career, right? It's one thing to do it personally. It's another thing to translate those qualities into leadership. Just like when you have a player like Michael Jordan, right? Greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. It doesn't automatically mean that it's going to translate to him being a front office executive, right? I'm not saying that Tim Hardaway can't do it. And he has been through things that say, you know what, he has some of these qualities, but can he make it translate to actually being the guy that everyone looks to say, yeah, Tim said it, so I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm going to follow Tim's lead. You know, or can he make it translate? Can he be one of the guys on the team, one of the players that are holding other players accountable for their actions, for not playing defense, for taking bad shots, you know, for not making it to practice, for staying out late and partying when you had, you know, a early game the next day? Can he be one of those players? Can he be one of the brain trust of players that hold other players accountable? Because I've seen in the chat sometimes people say that we put too much stock in other players being leaders for other players on the team, and I disagree with that. I think it is vitally important that you have players on the team that take those leadership roles and hold each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? Rather than the coach, because the coach's voice can grow tired sometimes, and you know, when you always hear the coach saying something but other players aren't following the coach, then it says, are we following, you know, is he the leader? Is the coach the leader for us? So you need to have some of those players that are spreading the language of the coach, spreading the voice of the coach. Can Hardaway be one of those guys? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying that this is an entirely new role for him. You know what I mean?
I think he could absolutely handle it. Like I said, like we've already acknowledged, this is someone who fought to get his career back. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is someone who fought to get his career back. And contract aside, this is someone who can play this game. From the things that you don't like about Tim Hardaway, granted, we talked about it. He's not as efficient as you would like him to do. Mm-hmm. When you saw the Knicks at their best last year, you saw Hardaway igniting the break. You saw Hardaway on the other end of the break. You saw the Knicks had a certain up and down game that as soon as he got hurt, it was sorely missed. It was noticeable right away because you had no one else that could get you those easy transition buckets. That's also a part of the game, not just his three-point shot making.
I agree. And my thing is, can he do that consistently? Because he didn't do it consistently. And I know he went out on injury and so on. And it was the first year of him, you know, having that role and playing, having that much responsibility on the team, you know, being the second and then the first guy, you know, being the second option and then the first option. It's the first time. So can he be consistent? And I think this year is going to go a long way in telling us whether or not he can do this for his career. You know what I mean? I hope he can. I hope he can. I really do. I really do. I want to see everybody in the NBA succeed. You know what I mean? So I hope that he can.
In your heart of hearts, Sim, you really want Courtney Lee to still be on this team. Say the truth. Say the truth, Sim. Look, Sim. Courtney Lee, okay? Whether he was, I don't think the Knicks long for Courtney Lee, but just for the mere fact that the Knicks have so many young, talented players that he's blocking their way. Okay?
He is. Yes.
I heard some people get on the line and they're kicking Dotson's back in for some summer league work. Summer league work is nothing but glorified 21 games where with the person on the court, whoever gets the ball is trying to outshine that person. There's not much cohesion going on. Courtney Lee stands as someone who blocks these young guys' minutes. The Knicks, you have to get rid of him.
I mean, I feel you. I know what you're saying. I get that. You know, you got to make some, especially if the Knicks feel that Tim Hardaway is the future. You gotta move him. I get that.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Sim, good night. I know there's other people on the chat. We'll talk again, Killer.
All right, man. Hey, have a great start to your week.
All right, brother.
All right, peace. All right, we're going to see if we can get back into this chat. You know, we had some technical difficulties. Mark, are you ready? I don't know if Mark is ready. Mark, you ready? Forget an intro, man. Just you don't need no intro. We don't need drum rolls for you, man.
This Fizdale program that Tim Hardaway's talking about, I'm down. What choice do you have? You are Tim Hardaway. You ain't no star player. You have no choice but to join that program. What is he talking about?
Well, true, but it's still. He may not have a choice. Well, he does have a choice. He can say, "No, I don't like this, and I'm not going to participate." You know what I'm saying? And like Melo did with D'Antoni back in the day. I don't want to play this way.
Yeah, but listen,
a player can do that if they choose to. I mean, he's just putting it out there that I support everything that Fizdale is doing. You know, but go ahead,
bro. It's not like all right. This him being a leader thing, no, because. This whole thing of Tim Hardaway becoming more of a better player. It seems like y'all talking about like a star player. No, this is This is about to be his 7th season. He is who he is. Mm-hmm. A two wing that could shoot the ball. It needs to be consistent. That cuts. His defense to me. Well, I don't think it will ever be because of the structure of his foot.
Because of the structure of what?
Of his foot.
Okay.
It's like Canton. When you watch it, it's so flat-footed, it's hard for him to move lateral. And if you can't move lateral in this league, you're going to get beat every trip.
So you don't think Tim Hardaway made the effort to play good defense last year?
Because we couldn't guard the 3-point line.
I think he made the effort. I think he may not be perfect, but I think he at least made the effort to play defense last year. Yeah. Better than I've seen him in years past. I can tell you that.
But this is my whole gripe with him. He's not a bad player. Is that he took up a great amount of money of the cap. That is the main problem here.
You know, but there's nothing. That's a sunk cost. There's nothing we can do about that.
This is why we're having a talk about him, because if he's getting paid, at least what Courtney Lee was, we would think about keeping him as part of the team. Because he's making a star tier, nearly a star tier salary, it is a problem.
I don't know if he's making a star tier. That's not star money to me.
Bro,
$17 million is not star
Klay
money.
Thompson's getting paid. He should get paid on Klay Thompson's.
He's not making star money to me. Klay Thompson's not going to get paid $17 million next year, or with his next contract. It's not going to be $17 million a year. I can guarantee you that.
No, but the type of player that Klay is, he's a second tier star. He's not a first tier star. I'm looking at it from who's a max player, who's a star player, and who's your role players.
Right.
But Klay is a 2-tier guy.
But Klay Thompson in his next contract is going to make more than $18 million a year.
Yeah,
Tim Hardaway in his next contract is going to make less. There sometimes comes a time when two players, even though one is better, they might be making the same amount of money, but one is going to, if he's a star player, is going to go up. One is going to stay or go down. You know what I mean? I don't think he's getting star money. I don't think he is.
Oh, just because of where the salary cap has bumped to,
Yeah.
But in all reality, he's getting paid his cap, I think, with Klay. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah. And Rafi, I'm going to open you up too, because I see you shaking your head. So I think you got something to say. I'm going to open you up, Rafi. You know, so you can, I'm trying to open you up. For some reason, I can't get you open. I don't know what it is.
For me, I don't think Terry is going to be playing anytime soon.
You opened up, Rafi.
Am I opened up?
Yeah, you opened up, man. You said you don't think Trey's going to be playing anytime soon.
Nah, he needs a whole lot of work. If you watch Summer League and you watch that kid, he needs a whole lot of work. A lot. A lot. And I don't even think he's better than Moutier right now.
Okay. We'll see. Rafi, what's up, man?
All right. I can't believe this is actually subject. Like, this is probably the most disappointed I've been since I've joined the NBA community. Like,
okay.
I'm actually like, all right. What leadership qualities does Tim Hardaway have? Can you just answer that, please?
I mean, Anthony Dunbar just he said a few things that were Tim Hardaway was, I'm not gonna say close to being out of the league, right? Had to be sent down to the G League. It takes something for you to say, okay, I've got to change the way that I eat. I've got to change my work ethic. I've got to change some things if I want to get back into the league and be a player in the league. That takes something. You got to give him credit for that.
Okay, I give him credit. You know, I'll make you. Listen, what does he do consistently well?
What does he do consistently? But does that only make up a leader? Does that?
What does he do well? Nothing. He doesn't even shoot consistently well. He doesn't play defense consistently well.
I agree. But do those things make up? Are those the only things that make up a leader? Because there are leaders on the basketball court, and then there are leaders off the basketball.
Like saying, "No, don't worry, you're doing well. Don't worry, your shot's gonna come." Does he do any of that stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not on the court. I don't hear him on the court. I don't know how he's in the locker room. But this is going to be the first time that he's actually asked to be in that role.
I think he was like that last. The whole reason why I wanted Tim Hardaway to be traded is because people see him right now as a leader, and I don't want him to contaminate our young people. I don't want him to contaminate. Please take him out of our team now. I don't want to see. Please.
Yes.
Us too. Oh no! Listen. All right. Take him to Sacramento. That's where he belongs. That's where he belongs. Please.
All right. Well, we're gonna see. Listen, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I don't know. You guys know I'm not really a big fan of Tim Hardaway, but I'm trying to be fair.
Bro, we're talking about him like he is this like changing culture type player. No, he's not that.
But he's on the team. And like you said, he's getting paid star money. Right?
Yeah, he is.
He started getting paid that money last year. So the question is, can he do some of those things to take a leap so that he actually earns that money? You don't know if he can. All we can say is our opinion, right? Some people say that he can. Some people say that he can't.
Tim, how much points you got him averaging this year?
On that team, Ron Baker, he at least gives effort on defense.
Okay.
If you're giving, it doesn't matter if you're giving effort on offense, because if you're giving effort on offense and you're not making any shots, yeah, then what are you doing? You're just jacking up shots and you're not even making them.
Well,
on defense, at least you're being a pest. So he doesn't do any of that stuff for me. So I don't want him to be.
We'll see.
Bro, we paid $70 million to a bench player. That's what he was in Atlanta. He couldn't get off the bench there. Come on. That's the type of player he is. He played in an oil well machine offense and couldn't come off the bench.
There you go. Tired of hearing that guy. Guillermo, what's going on, man? How you feel, man?
Yo, what's good, man? Yo, it seems like you try. First of all, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. I think what we're trying to do is fit a square peg into a round hole, man. Like, look,
okay,
we got excited because of those amazing games that Tim Hardaway had, like one we had against the Spurs and whatnot when he played with the Hawks. And our previous regime messed up by giving that big money. To me, man, leaders aren't made, man. They're born. I know that sounds very corny, but like I look at a guy like Tim Hardaway, right? One characteristic of a leader is sacrifice, right? What part of Tim Hardaway's game had he sacrificed when him and KP earlier in the season, when they were vying for shots, neither of them really sacrificed to each other to say, hey, when this guy's hot, let me facilitate for him. Or when I'm hot, the other guy will facilitate. I didn't see that last year. You don't see him going all out on defense. Now, I understand, look, he's a scorer at heart. But if I saw last season that this guy was giving it his all on defense and taking less shots and trying to help Frank Ntilikina go in that 2-on-2 game, trying to shut down the backcourt, I would be like, all right, there's some characteristics that I see that makes up a leader. You want to know who a leader is? Go back and watch Jordan's season right before Phil Jackson came. You know what Jordan averaged? I believe he averaged, and correct me if I'm wrong, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists on 53% shooting. That is absurd. His numbers went down the year after because the system was being put in place. Now, he could have taken the Russell Westbrook approach and be like, nah, I'm going to take my shots. I don't care if Phil Jackson's coming in. He was like, nah, let me sacrifice my game for the betterment of the system to make other guys also better around me. That's sacrifice. That's a leader. Steph Curry, what he did when KD came over, he sacrificed part of his game to accommodate for KD and let KD shine. That's why KD won the MVPs in the finals. That's sacrifice. What we're trying to do is that we see a talent in Tim Hardaway Jr., and we're trying to say, oh, could he be a leader because he's part of the old regime? Age doesn't make you a leader, dude. Age does not necessarily give you wisdom. So to me, I think that we're trying to force this guy to be something that he's not. Look, he's a weapon that needs to be controlled. He needs, like, what's the name Mark said? Look, if this guy is going to be on a championship level team or a playoff level team, he needs to be coming off the bench because he needs to be reined in. Too many times I saw last year where literally, I can't remember which game. I'm going to look it up for the next chat. Tim Hardaway was like 0 for 8 or something like that from the three-point line. He literally rolled the basket on his man with ease. And I'm like, why don't you do this? You have a mismatch on you. Guys can't hold you. You know what he did the next few possessions? He went back to shooting threes. And I don't know what he shot for that game. He didn't do much. So he's not necessarily a leader. The leader that we need to look out for next season is the coach, Fizdale. Fizdale, like I keep saying, he has to instill, and it has to be a meritocracy. Like he said, you earn what you eat. You come in, you play hard, you work hard, you get results, you're going to play. If not, I don't care if you're KP, I don't care if you're Patrick Ewing, I don't care if you're freaking Bernard King. You're not playing unless you show up, unless you eat, you kill what you eat. So you have all that stuff about Tim Hardaway Jr. He had time to do it, and he did it. So we had a low. This is my last comment. We had a low period last year where we were looking for something. When the season tanked, when the season was going down, KP got hurt. We were looking for something. Tim Hardaway didn't step up. He said, well, I'm going to keep getting my shots up. And it didn't work for the team. It didn't work for his numbers. And that showed that he's not a leader. The only leader player that I think that might be a leader because he goes all out and he sacrifices his numbers that can get him a bigger contract for whatever is Frank Ntilikina. If anybody's going to be a leader, look at Frank to be a leader. But other than that, it needs to be Fizdale. So
okay. Now, just let me. I'm gonna respond to that. I'm gonna put you on mute, Graham. I'm gonna respond to that. I didn't get you on mute yet. I don't know. This thing is being finicky right now. Being real finicky with there we go. The one thing that I think we do have to look at though is the coaching, right? You spoke about David Fizdale, which you're right. But I don't think when you look at Jeff Hornacek, he was really concerned about teaching these young guys how to be basketball players, leaders on the floor, professionals, and those type of things. David Fizdale is going to come in with a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I think David Fizdale may have a different impact on players. When you look at different players, when you look at any player that comes into the league, the coaches that they have, the people that surround them play a big part in the player that they become in the league. Obviously, they have talent. Obviously, they may have work ethic and they have certain things. But coaches, mentors play a big part in how a player develops in the league, both on the court and off the court, right? And when you look at a player that's never been in a position, you have to ask, can they step up? You have to ask. If they've never been in that position, can they step up? Now, my honest opinion about Tim Hardaway is that he doesn't have the mental makeup of a leader. That's just my honest opinion. But I'm going to ask the questions. Still, I'm going to reserve judgment until I see what happens next year. I'm going to reserve judgment. I don't think he has the mental makeup. I think mentally he is weak. That's my opinion to Tim Hardaway. I think mentally he can't get himself out of a funk because once he goes into a stupor, he's not strong enough up here to pull himself out. And then he doesn't do other things on the floor. When he goes into a shooting slump, he doesn't pick it up on the defensive end or try to get extra rebounds or try to get extra assists or just go all out, do all out hustle. He doesn't do some of those little things. To me, he pouts. right? That's what I believe stops him from being a leader. But I'm going to reserve judgment to see if maybe he's matured. Because someone said just getting older doesn't make you have wisdom. I disagree, Guillermo. I think it was you who said that. I disagree. The older you get, the more wisdom you get. And you never know when that light is going to come on. You never know. When that light's going to come on and something's going to switch and you'll say, and it just hits you that this is what I have to do. But that being said, I do not believe that it has the mental makeup to be a leader. And I'm not just talking about a leader on the floor. I'm talking about a leader, a real leader, like Chauncey Billups was a leader. The kind of guy that you're going to walk behind and stand behind and follow him into a war because he is a leader. Those kind of guys have a tough mindset. I don't think that Tim Hardaway has that kind of a mindset. That's the reason why I do not believe he will become a leader, but I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm not going to say he's not. I don't believe it. I will wait and see. I'm going to give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? He's not my favorite player. Everyone knows that. You know what I mean? Because of all those things. But I do think that we have to give him a shot. Because last year, you know, it was a different kind of year. We're starting fresh. As a matter of fact, let me get to this super chat here. And we're going to move on. But this, my man D Nice hit me with the super chat. Excuse me. He said, I say new season. This is D Nice. New season, new team, new coaching staff. Let's wait and see who emerges as a leader during the preseason and first half of the season. I'm with you, D Nice. I'm with you with that. CP the Artist asks, who is a better leader, KP or Tim? I rest my case. You know what, CP? I didn't get to see everything that you put in the chat. That's a good question. Maybe that's another question for another day, because that can be a pretty big argument. Mighty Knicks, thank you for the super chat. Said Zion is 6'6", 285 at 18. Come on, chat. I guess he's talking to the chat. Mighty Knicks again. Said Cam is better than TJ. RJ is better than Wiggins. Zion is better than Eddie Curry. Kind of off topic, but I'm shouting you out anyway, Mighty Knicks. Mighty Knicks said to Guillermo 100% that he agrees with you, Guillermo, 100%. And then Uptown Twan, thank you for the super chat. He said, do we really want Timmy to be our leader? And there you go. So I think we got our answers about Tim Hardaway, whether or not he can be a leader or if he's even, or whatever it is. I don't know. But let's check out. Let's see what some of these calls got to say. Calling you on live with nothing but Knicks. What's popping?
Simmer, what's going on, man? Simmer, man? What's up?
Man. What's popping, man? What's going on with you?
This is the original Dundada, man. Calling in, man, for a long time. You know, I can't get to you, but thank God I got to you, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, man. So I'm hearing what's going on, and I wanted to weigh in on my boy, Tim. It's a conversation that we have had sometime in the back, sometime in the past. But I tell you something, Sim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old school Knicks fan. You know what I mean? As I always said, I've been watching the Knicks for a very, very long time. And I'll tell you something. Tim reminds me of John Starks.
Right.
With those two players, they have a heart like a lion. They want to win. And that is why I think Tim was also brought back. Because, number one, Mills did not like the way he left. Mills did not want him to leave, but Jackson sent him out. Unfortunately, Mills thought that he got a bad deal. That's what happened. So when he came back, what happened was that they know that the price that they were paying for him was a little bit high. But what happened was that they were comparing it to other guys who were in the same bracket. basically scoring the same amount of points. And they thought that not only should they outbid, make sure that Atlanta could not match, but also they want to keep him in the same bracket. Okay? Now, what happened right now, if we like John Starks, a lot of us know that, we have a love-hate relationship with John Starks. And what we realized with John was this. John had a heart like a Michael Jordan. He had the heart. He wanted to win very badly. And it's the same thing with Tim. They can shoot you in a basketball game and they can shoot you out of a basketball game. Their problem, what they have, is a mental issue. Basically, when you're playing a game like that, once you have the stroke going and you have a positive attitude, it will go down. But once they get mentally weak, and that's what Indiana did with Starks. While Starks was playing, they knew that if they could get into Starks, get underneath the skin, basically they could really mess him up. And that's what they did with Starks. Tim is the same thing. Tim has that Warriors mentality. But if you really affect him, if he presses too much, what's going to happen? If the shot is not going down, it can be a problem. That is why Ewing had a problem while they were playing the Bulls. Because what happened, Pat Riley said to Starks, keep on shooting the ball. You will shoot yourself out of it, and the ball will eventually go in. But Ewing understood that if Starks kept on shooting and he was on making, basically what was happening is that he had a chance to score the ball down low. Starks was not making those balls. So basically, Ewing got very upset, and that's one of the reasons why Pat Riley did not come back, because Ewing blamed Pat Riley because he thought that Pat Riley was the cause of Starks shooting the ball and basically him not getting the ball. But my point is this. Starks, if you like Starks, then you like then you will like Tim, because they're made in the same mold. They want to win so badly. They want to win at a point whereby if the ball is not going down, they get down on themselves. And this is the problem. I personally feel, Tim, that we have to be patient with Tim Hardaway. Maybe having the coach, maybe having this coach around him, probably that can settle him down. But he has to be managed properly. And we have to understand something right now. This year is an experimental year. This year is a year that basically Mills, he is trying to find out who will rise to the top. There are many players right now, but who is going to rise? We have to let this thing play out. And I know you don't like Tim Hardaway, but you know,
not a big fan.
We have to give him a chance. We have to give him a chance. I'm
not a big fan, but I'm willing to give him a chance. And see, but my thing is, one thing I definitely agree with you that he's like almost like a second coming of John Starks without the defense.
Yes, he is.
Without the defense, though. Right?
Definitely, he is.
John Starks.
Some of us hate Starks. Some of us thought that Starks was the reason why we lost out, but Starks was not managed.
Right.
Starks had the green light to just keep on shooting.
Yeah.
And a lot of players have it against him that he cost us a championship. A lot of players still do.
But see, my thing, I love John Starks because I loved his he played defense and I loved his heart. But John Starks, to me, wasn't the second player that Patrick Ewing needed.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. And that's my thing. That's the thing with Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway probably isn't the second player that we need either. He's probably best going to be your third option or coming off the bench.
Third or fourth.
Yeah.
And to the right. Both of them are not class A. They're not leaders. Let's get that straight up front. Starks was on the leader and Tim was the leader. But when they were going good, they could really win over a game. They could really take over a game when they were mentally in it. but they were not leaders.
Yes, right, exactly, right. Well, yeah,
Correct.
we agree. I mean, I'm willing to wait and see. I am definitely willing to wait and see. I think that he has. I agree with Anthony when he said that Tim Hardaway has done some things that show leadership qualities, but does that translate to him being a leader? Not necessarily. I, for one, don't think he has the mental makeup to be a leader.
No, he doesn't.
But
he doesn't.
As I said, I am willing to see what happens this season.
Definitely, and that is why we have to be a little bit patient to see what will happen if he will change his ways. Because both Starks and Anthony, they were chucking up shots. They basically were just chucking shots, making sure that if they had a good streak going in, I mean the ball going in, then they could shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
And both of them are the same thing. They could shoot the lights out when it's going okay. But mentally, if it's not going in right now, basically they are like dumbstruck and they get very frustrated. And Indiana knew that about Starks.
Right.
And that's what they did to him. Play a mind game with him. And they got him out of the game. But, the other thing, too, that I want to mention was Courtney Lee. Mm-hmm. And I tell you something about Courtney Lee. If it's one thing I admire about that man played defense. That man brought his game every night. He brought it. He was a captain and he stressed defense. He was all about playing defense. He would talk with the young men, tell them, hey, man, forget about last night's game. Let's do it again. He is a leader. That man is a leader. The unfortunate thing about Courtney Lee right now, unfortunately, is that Courtney Lee is now caught up in this youth movement. And if you're going to grow these guys, if you're going to nurture these guys, unfortunately, Courtney Lee's time is up. Just like you, I would love for Courtney Lee to go on to a good team. But life is not so perfect. Just like you, Sim, I feel the same way. He deserves a lot more. But as Gabe Gettleman said of the New York Giants, he said, look, this is a big boy's game. And sometimes you got to put on your big boy pants. It's not personal. But if we have a chance to move Mr. Lee, move Courtney Lee, then we should take that chance, even if we have to put in a second round pick. May not, we have to do it because these young kids, they need time to grow. And already Courtney is of the mind whereby he understands where the team is going. Believe me, he knows more and he understands more, and I give him credit because he understands more about what is going on. And he understands that more likely he has to leave.
Yeah.
The whole problem is, how is he going to leave? Yeah. Is he going to leave to a worse team or to a better team?
Yeah, I'm with you. But hey, I'm gonna have to. It's been a minute. I'm gonna have to let you go.
Okay, man.
Yeah, so I can get to some other people. But I definitely appreciate the call, man. It's always a pleasure when you call.
All right, my buddy. Take care, okay, man.
Take care, man. Have a good start to your week.
Thankful, man.
All right, peace. Yeah.
All right. Peace.
All right. Well, there's where we stand with Tim Hardaway. You know what I mean? That's where we stand with Tim Hardaway. Let's talk about, we're coming down to the end of the show. You know what I mean? I want to talk about Vonleh a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. I did if you get a chance, check it out. It'll probably be out this week. I did a podcast with Tommy D on the X's and O's podcast. Where I kind of did a breakdown, a battle of the bigs. So if you get a chance, check it out. Hopefully, it's out tomorrow, Tuesday. I talked about Vonleh a little bit. Vonleh is looking to reclaim his career in the NBA right now. He averaged 5.8 rebounds last year between Chicago and Portland. Offensively, he's not going to light it up. But can he replace Kyle O'Quinn? I think we talked about this a couple of streams ago. Can he replace Kyle O'Quinn? Can he I doubt he's gonna. I'm not sure if he really has the mid-range game that Kylo Quinn had. He doesn't seem he can shoot it from 3. He shoots about 30% from 3, so it's not awful. But will he be able to reclaim his career? He's drafted in 2014, top 10 pick. This is a year that he's looking to prove that he's worth it. I don't know if we need him to reclaim his career and be a star. We just need him to be a role player that can come in and produce. And I'm hoping that he can be that kind of a role player that can come in and produce a little bit. Give us rebounds, bang the boards, give us 7-8 rebounds a game. And maybe give us 8 to 10 points per game. That's all we need from him. Because we're going to, looking at the roster, that power forward spot for us, I think he's going to be key. I think Vonleh is going to be a key player with that power forward position, because if you look at the players that we have there, if you're putting Mario Hezonja at that power forward position, he's 6'8", 218 pounds, basically the size of a small forward, right? And then you have Lance Thomas, who can play some power forward. Again, he's 6'8", 235 pounds. So he's 20 pounds heavier than Hezonja. So he can give us a little bit more beef and a little bit more bang down, when we play teams that have bigger fours. But he's still a little bit short on size. Then you got Vonleh. Vonleh is 6'10". I think he's 220 or something, 225, somewhere around that, 218, 225, something like that. He's got a little bit more size. He's used to banging with the guys down there a little bit more. And he can guard the perimeter. So I think that he's going to be key, because we're not always going to be able to trot out a 6'8" power forward and be successful and expect them to guard power forwards that may bang you in the post every once in a while. And I know the argument is going to be that, there's more stretch fours in the league, but you come across teams that have fours that are going to be able to play in the post. It's going to happen, and you're going to need, in a lot of fours, a 6'10". Right? 2 inches means a lot in the NBA. So we're going to need that. We're going to need his body. And we're going to need him to come in when we want to play a lineup. And, they have another long 4, because KP's not here yet. They have another long 4. We're going to need him to be able to play that position. He's going to have to defend that position, and hopefully he can be a little bit of a threat offensively. So I think that Vonleh is going to be important for us, because he's maybe the only guy that's going to be versatile enough on the defensive end to be able to play against those bigger, longer fours. Cornette is going to be too slow on the perimeter, in my opinion, although he's 7'1" and he can block shots. I think he's going to be too slow on the perimeter. As we said with Hezonja and Lance Thomas, they're a little bit smaller, they're a little bit shorter. So then guys are going to use that height advantage over them in the post. Right? Vonleh is kind of that mix. 6'10", can help guard the perimeter, can also guard the guys in the post. Offensively, we'll see what he gives us this year. But now, and of course, we have Mitchell Robinson, who can go back and forth between the 4 and the 5. Right? So I guess there's 2 of them. I think Mitchell Robinson will be able to guard 4s on the perimeter. I don't think there's a problem with him there. But I think that Vonleh is going to be a key player for us. I think he can be a key player for us. Let me put it like that. I think he can be a key player for us. And hopefully he does come in and he can play his role, reboot his career. David Fizdale has some work cut out for him, man. Work cut out for him. Got a bunch of guys that want to reclaim their careers. A bunch of former draft picks. He's got his work cut out for him. But I think he's going to be all right. He's going to do his job. Big shout out to Mighty Knicks. Said Daniel at Daniel Anglero said Zion is Anthony Bennett. Facts. We'll see. I'm not, not as worried about next year's draft as I am worried about what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? So let's check out the chat, man. I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to open it up a little bit, find out what's going on with these dudes, man. We see Tony Crow's in the chat. Haven't heard from Tony Crow all night. Ruben, man, I'm about to swing to you. You know what I mean? I'm about to swing to you. Let me know what's going on in chat. Then I'm going to open everybody up for a second for about 2-3 minutes and let them go at it. If I can get this free. Ruben, what's going on, man? What they talking about?
Listen, I know that you're talking about Will Bali right now. We really got a good chat going on about something totally else. And before we even think what's going on in the chat right now, what's going on on the chat is they talking a lot about Zion and Cam. I love the conversation that's going on in the chat. But as far as what we talking about up here on the video chat, it's kind of crazy. I don't agree with Guillermo at all, but he got a lot to say. I would go to Guillermo, but I know Tony Crow got something to say. So let's hear Tony Crow out, please. But I can't believe you. Go ahead, Tony.
All right. Well, I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna just remind you guys. Be patient with each other. Give each other a chance to talk when we open it all up. All right. So we're not talking over top of each other. So I'm gonna open it up. All right. I'm gonna open it. Tony, you're open. You can go ahead with it.
Yo, Blackest Time. Shout out to the chat. What up, Tim?
What's going on?
I just wanted to come on real quick and show some love. Let you know I hit up Jimmy's. You know what that's about. So I got some info for you for that.
All right.
And give me a call. When you get a free time.
All right, sound good. Mark, I need you to turn that down, please.
My bad, bro.
All right, so go ahead, man. Finish your guys' conversation.
Can I ask you a question, Sim?
Yes, here you go.
Wait.
Yo, look, put it like this, because he's a basketball coach. He's a basketball junkie, basketball head, whatever. So if Kevin Knox comes in, right, and this guy brings us, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying if he comes in and he brings us, say, 40.
Yo, Angie, just let him go, please.
He's playing at an all-star level, right?
Right.
And we get to the players with, say, 47 wins, right? Everything is running through Knox, like with defense, whatever, blah, blah, and we bring the team a little bit back to promise. You see a future, see a foundation, right?
Right.
And then next year, KP comes back, right? And the coach anoints KP as the leader of this team. Do you think that's going to be healthy for the locker room? Because KP has been there for 3 years. As much as I like KP talent-wise, we haven't been to the playoffs because of KP. KP hasn't played.
Look at the roster he's had.
KP hasn't played a full season. Hold on. But Kevin Knox is a guy saying he's the main guy who brings back to promise. Do you think it's right that we not operate on a meritocracy and we don't have this guy Knox as the budding leader and we put KP as the leader? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's going to be healthy for the locker room?
So you're saying basically KP comes back and you just say, okay, you're second fiddle now.
No, we say that. We say KP is the leader, and
that's what he wants.
No. You come. I'm saying. So you're saying KP comes back and then you tell Knox, boom, you're second fiddle. That's it.
Right. No, and I don't agree with that. I don't want that to happen. Right. I'm saying, how do you think that will affect the locker room?
I think what you got to do, if you just come in, I think you're right. If you just come in and you just straight up say, KP, you're the man. Knox, you're second fiddle. I don't think you do it that way. I think you get them in there, and however it works out while they're playing is how it works out. I think you do it that way. I don't think you anoint anyone. However it works out naturally is how, the players will decide who the leader is. The players will decide who the guy is that they want to go to. The basketball will find that person. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
KP don't play like
a people. I think that we conflate KP's potential with this. He's a leader. To me, man, look, as much as I like KP, we haven't gone to the playoffs. We haven't done. It's like
listen, but Knox hasn't played the game yet.
Right, it's like Herschel working the Cowboys. Oh, Herschel Walker's this great play, blah, blah. But they traded him, and they built a dynasty off of that.
The Cowboys. Hold on, look, man. Let
me ask you a question. Who you trading KP for since you talking like that?
Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Knox hasn't played the game yet, though. You can't even.
I'm sorry, Anthony. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you. I was just saying if. I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm just saying if. I think that next season, Fizdale is the leader of this team. There's no, this guy's a leader, this guy's a leader. Fizdale's a leader. He installs and instills the culture and the mindset for that team, and everybody goes along. Now, if there is a player that embodies all those characteristics and he plays at a high level and a team operates through him, then yes, that guy is the leader. But other than that,
does it have to be one leader? Can it be more than one? Do you think KP and Steph is out there saying, "Wait, you're the guy, I'm the second guy"? You think these other players are saying, you think Tatum and the boy Brown out there is?
I said
Al Horford is wondering about who the main guy is. Oh, you got to be a leader. You got to motivate everybody else. You got to make sure that you're leading by example, which is something Ralphie was trying to say earlier about Tim Hardaway. The reason he can't be a leader because he don't lead by example. Now, what Sim was saying earlier about leading by example, we got to give Tim Hardaway a chance to do that, even though I don't believe he's going to do it either. But you give him a clean slate, which is what Nate was saying.
There's different leaders.
But it don't matter who the number one guy is. All we want to do is Knox to come in and play well. If he comes in and plays well, KP come in, he play well, we do well. If you can lead your players by example, then you're a leader. You don't have to be number one. Not
only that, but I think both these players have the attitude to be able to play well with each other. I really do think that you listen to them in their interviews, they don't sound like me players. They sound like we players.
KP's
and they seem like they want to win, and I think that's all that's going to matter.
I'm about to say, I think if KP came back next year, the year after next year, and he saw that Knox was balling, KP's going to be happy. He's going to say,
I
win.
Like, he's not gonna be trying to take his spot. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I get to play with another dog." Like, he's gonna be happy.
I don't think this is a Russell Westbrook.
Let me be defensive player of the year.
Yeah, like
I don't think this is a Russell Westbrook Durant situation. I think this is two players that actually can play together and get along with each other, and they're both young enough that they know that they want to bring New York back to prominence. They want to win for New York.
Listen, man,
not only does it happen, it's actually necessary. You need that to actually go take it to the next level. So not only does it happen, so not only will it be strife, it'll actually be KP will be happy as hell if February come and Knox is scoring 20-something a game and trying to push us into wins. That's all he want to hear, and that's all that Knox want to know is KP is excited about that, so he can come back and put his numbers up. Nobody's ever going to be mad at that. The first leader, the second. Y'all kidding me?
No one's talking about first or second leader. All I was just saying is that I was using Knox as an example of, like, let it be a meritocracy. Look, if we have 5 leaders, then you have 5 leaders. I'm not saying you don't have leaders, but you have to have a system where you have leaders and followers. I don't even think we should anoint anybody. Like I said, players gravitate towards one person who is a leader, and that leader is helping this team, is the reason why we go from 37 wins to 40 to 50 wins, then that's the leader. If it's 2 guys, then it's 2 guys. If it's 3 guys, it's 3 guys. I'm not saying you only have to have one leader. I just don't like prematurely anointing anyone's a leader. And I felt like there was a sentiment to use that on KP, like, because we see the potential, and we keep talking about potential.
Who else is going to lead our team, bro?
Anoint him as a leader. I'm not saying he can be. He might come back and might be the greatest Knicks player of all time. And he might be the greatest leader of all time.
He played like a leader last year, Guillermo. He actually played like a leader last year.
Let me get Guillermo, that's what I think.
He didn't play like a leader last year. What are you talking about? He just put up good numbers.
It's not the guys. Hold on for 1 minute.
What part of KP's game did you
hold up, Guillermo? Let me get in here for a minute.
Where you were like, oh my gosh, this is the guy.
Yo, Guillermo, stop.
Let me get in here for a minute.
He was an all-star.
Every play he came down, he wanted the ball.
So I gotta go ahead and mute these guys because now they getting loose. Now they getting loose. So let me get in here for a minute. See they start getting excited. They can't hear. But I agree with what Guillermo is saying, right? About just anointing someone just off the bat. One thing I'll say, we haven't seen if KP can be a leader yet either. I'm not saying that he can't, but we have not seen if KP can be a leader yet. He still has to prove that he can be a leader as well. Just like we're saying Tim Hardaway has to prove it, although I don't believe that he has the mental makeup.
Well, who's next? I'm going to try to catch you here. Shout out to the chat, yo, Black, it's time.
I do believe that KP has the mental makeup to be a leader, but will it translate to, will he be able to put it in action? We'll see. You know what I mean? So I believe we still have to see if KP can be that kind of a leader. You know what I mean? But just
that's why the coach is going to be the leader right now.
Right? But just anointing someone, I agree with Graham. When you just anoint someone, one, you put pressure on that person. Then you kind of make everyone say, oh, you just going to anoint this guy. You don't know what's happening in the locker room. You don't know what's happening here, there, or any other place. You're just going to anoint this guy as the leader. No, I think the players determine
right
who
now.
the
It is
leader
KP's team.
I mean, I guess it's KP's team, but still, when you get once you get new players into a team, that team changes, and you're gonna have to. The players are gonna decide who the leader is. When it comes down to crunch time, it is going to be the ball is gonna go to who the players trust, not who the coaches anoint as the leader. It's gonna go to who the players trust. If Frank Ntilikina is the point guard and KP is not getting it done, Kevin Knox is getting it done, who do you think he's giving the ball to? He's giving it to Kevin Knox.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The players are going to decide who the leader is, not the coaches, not the
Well, the coach is always going to be seen as the leader. It should be seen as the leader.
Yeah, I'm talking about a leader on the floor as the players on the team. The coaches are going to be seen as the leader.
Point guard, I would argue, should be the leader because he's the one that facilitates everything.
True, but that that doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen that way. You know what I mean? But listen, that was the last segment of the show. We're down to last words, but I want you guys to, after you say your last word, I'm not going to remove you. I want you to stay on for a minute, all right? So I could talk to you after the stream for a second. We're talking about leadership. And it's something that obviously, people are talking about saying that KP is already the leader, but we also complain that it's something that we've been missing for a very long time. So I'm not sure if that really makes, is KP already the leader? You know what I mean? We'll see what happens there. Again, the players will decide who the leader is. We'll see what happens when training camp comes. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens when training camps come. But I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. I'm going to throw 30 seconds on the clock. Give you guys 30 seconds to go ahead and get your last words in. Nate, I'm going to start with you. But like I said, don't get off. Stay on. All right.
Okay. All right.
And go for it, Nate. You're on the clock.
Shout out to the chat, like always. Love to have the discussion. Subscribe if you haven't. Sim does a great job of facilitating all this. Like Guillermo said, the coach has got to be the leader starting off. This is a very young team. A lot of these players, it's make or break for them. Then you got rookies that, are still trying to find their way. I mean, trust in Fizdale, what he's doing. He's got a proven record of developing players, and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade speak very highly of him, arguably two of the best players in our time. Just trust what they're doing.
All right. I'm going to move on. Rafi, I'm coming to you, man.
All right. Shout out to the chat. I'm just going to say, I don't want to, I know we haven't talked about this today, but I don't want to invest in any players if they're not our first option, because I don't want to be investing 5 years and then giving them all that money if they weren't our first option. Second of all, when it comes to who's the leader of our team, all of our players are now are like lottery picks right now, so they're fighting for a place in the league. So, in my opinion, if there's anyone in our team that's going to be a leader, it's going to be Lance Thomas, because when he came to the Knicks, he was fighting to even stay in the league, and now he's staying in the league now and he succeeded. So he teaches people how to actually go through the year, and how to actually stay in the league. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right. Guillermo, open you up, my man. If I can get it open for some reason. All right, there we go. Guillermo, it's on you, bro.
Yeah, man. I like the motto, man. Earn what you eat, man. Like I played team sports, man. I played basketball, and I've seen it, man. Like if you're not the guy, look. Leaders are born and not made, man. Like come in, you earn what you eat, man. You kill. Like no one respects the wolf with like the big nice like coat of skin or whatever. Like they like the wolf that comes in and brings the food to the family, man. So I think the mentality next year needs to be: we got to go out and kill, defend, play hard, bring wins back, and gets back to the playoffs, man. And all this other stuff about who's leader and anointing this and that all dies, man. You earn what you eat, and if you are the leader amongst the men, then you're the leader. So that's all I gotta say.
All right. Who's Mark?
Listen, man.
You got an intro or no? What's up?
Listen, man, I always wanted the coach to be the leader just because I wanted the other players that we signed that comes to the Knicks to play here like they would play anywhere else. So the coach, like I said, the coach always has to be a leader. Always for this franchise has to be the leader. KP and them is going to follow up because if y'all didn't watch this first half of the season before he got hurt, the team knew who to go to at the end of games, and the ball always followed KP in the last 5 minutes of game because he was top 10 with KD and all of last 5 minutes scoring. So like I said, the coach is the leader. KP don't play like a guy that don't want other people to eat. He wants players to eat.
Okay.
But we don't have competent players. That's all.
Well, I ain't gonna get into that conversation with you now because I'm about to mute you, but we gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. I'm about to. You lucky this thing is not working right. You lucky it's not working right now.
No, but it's a fact. Look it up.
You said it's a fact. Look it up.
No, it's a fact. Look it up.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it. We're gonna get to talk about it.
Don't hate.
All right. Well, be quiet, man. Be quiet because you're not muted yet.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I know.
That one bothered you.
Shh. I'm trying to get Aunt G up here. This thing is acting
I got some stuff to say.
Okay, Aunt G, there you go, man.
Man.
You on.
Guillermo got my blood boiling tonight, man. We got to put some respect on KP name. Man, KP is not just being anointed. He's proven himself for 3 years as a 20-year-old Latvian kid that got booed on draft night, came into the Garden and was balling out. That's a fabric of a leader. He went to his Latvian national team. They all looked up to him. Read on it. He was the leader of that team. KP is a leader. He's proven it. He was an all-star. And I'm not about to just give this team to Kevin Knox to the 23 points in 3 summer league games. I'm not jacking that. So he got to come and show what KP has already shown. KP is that dude. Guillermo, I don't know what we got to respect our own, man. Knicks fans are our biggest critics, man. Everybody else in the league salivating over KP, and we doubting him. I don't get it, but shout out to the chat.
The thing, I'm going to respond to that for a minute, though, Angie, because the thing is, other teams are doubting KP, too. We're not the only one. Other teams doubt him, too. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they might trade for him if they wanted him or whatever it was, or they would want him, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't have questions over KP. I don't think that he's proved that he's a leader yet. Just because you score 20 points a game doesn't mean that you're a leader. You know what I'm saying? I think there's other things that show that. I'll say this. I don't think he showed leadership when he didn't show up for his exit interview. To me, that didn't show leadership. Right? That didn't show leadership to me. To me, it's more of a leader if you sit there and you say, this is what I want to see happen. That's a leader to me. Exiting it out and not going, that's not a leader to me. So I still think, but he was a young kid too. I'm not blaming him for that. He's a young man that has to learn those things, of course. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not ready to just say he's the straight up leader. We'll find out. That's why we got a young squad, because we're going to find those things out. All right. Rube, it's on you, man.
Man, listen, man, I'm not even going to go. Like I already said what I have to say about KP and Knox. I just want to respond to some stuff that's been said today in the chat and all of that. Man, I can't believe somebody actually, Guillermo, matter of fact, boy, Guillermo, you was on point. You be on point usually, but you was so off today. This dude compared Jordan to Tim. I almost deleted you off the chat. Don't ever please do that. Somebody else called in and was like Starks and Tim. They're not even the same kind of people. You know what I mean? So Tim Hardaway Jr. shouldn't be compared to certain people. Guillermo, you hurt me with that. Somebody else in the chat said, well, first off, Marty said that she was Oscar's biggest fan, and I don't agree with that. I'm Oscar. Great call today, Oscar. I'm one of your biggest fans. I love that you're a part of the chat if you're still on. And every time we go live, I hope that you're with us. Somebody else in the chat said that, we don't have a two-way player that can't be a leader. You have to be a two-way player to be a leader. And I just don't agree with that. There's been a lot of two-way players who weren't leaders, like Dirk, Nash. Matter of fact, Steph Curry right now was not a two-way player, and he's a leader. So I just don't agree with that either. And the last thing I want to say is CP, the artist, has something to say in the chat that I 100% agree with. A lot of people in the chat really don't watch basketball. They get all their knowledge from 2K. Like, they really sit up there and look at the ratings and the play. They don't really watch the actual game. They think they know the players. Please actually watch the game. I think League Pass is $27.99 a month. $200. I paid $200 off top. Just watch the games, please. Don't just jump on and start talking crap because you play the game. You know what I mean? So that's me. You know what I mean? That's all I really got to say for right now. But oh man, I wish I had my chance to shoot my shots. Because I got something for you, Sam, and a couple other people who be in the chat all the time. I'm upset with y'all, man. I'm mad today. I hope you can tell.
I could tell you're a little peeved today. You know,
man, it got me mad.
I could tell you're a little bit upset today. That's cool though. That's all right. We're gonna end this show. I'm gonna take one more call before I end. Caller, you on live with Nothing But Knicks? You got 2 minutes, man. What's poppin'?
Big Sam, what's going on? It's your boy Carl, man. What's going on?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
All right. I'm good, man. I just had to call in real quick, man, and I had to respond to what you just said, man, about Porzingis being a leader, and when you said that he wasn't being a leader with that meeting, with the exit meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta just say this, man. But you gotta understand. Look what Porzingis was dealing with that whole year, with how the Knicks organization was dogging Carmelo. I mean, it was a laughing stock that whole year, that whole season.
Right.
You know, I mean, I understand what you're saying, that you know, you have to show responsibility and leadership. I understand that, but I mean, and then there was talks of Phil, you know, wanting to get, you know, trying to get rid of Porzingis, you know, to get some draft picks or whatever. I mean, look what he had to deal with, though. You know what I'm saying, Sam?
I feel that, but I feel like a leader stands there to the person who is, I don't want to say oppressing them, but the person who is causing all of this ruckus stands there and says, I'm here. This is what I believe. This is the stance, and lets them know this is the stance that I'm taking. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do this, this is where I'm at. If you don't do this, this is where I'm at. You know what I mean? I feel like when you don't show up for that exit interview, to me, it's almost like running from it. I don't feel like that makes your point be heard any louder. You know what I'm saying? I think it shows immaturity. I think it shows more strength to sit there, look that person in the eye and say, I don't like that you did this, and this. I don't like the way you treated Melo. I don't like the leadership that you've been showing. I don't like the fact that my name is in trade rumors. What's going on? I think that shows more of a leader.
You know what, Sam, man? I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you, brother. You're right, man. You're definitely right, man. I didn't even think of it like that, but you're real. But see, it's hard. It's hard to be a stand-up guy, man, when you're dealing with a circus. True. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's hard to be a sergeant, a leader, when you're dealing with a whole bunch of clowns. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
That's the tough part.
I'm with you. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. I'm about to head off. I hope you have a wonderful week. Wonderful start to your week.
You too.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll see you on Tuesday night.
You got it, my brother. No doubt.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
Great last call. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you joined me this evening. You know what I'm saying? Knicks fans are wonderful. You know what I mean? Sunday night in the middle of August, and we here talking Knicks. So that's a beautiful thing. You know, but we're talking about leadership. Spent a lot of time talking about leadership. And I want you guys to understand that leadership is a service position, right? Leadership doesn't have to be always that someone is following you. A lot of times the leader is the follower. You know what I mean? And maybe you don't understand that. But the leader really does what needs to be done. If I'm the leader of an organization and this person handles my administrative work, then I've got to go get that person the resources for him or her to be successful. This person does human resources. I've got to go get the resources for that person to be successful. So I serve them. And if that person is the administrator and he or she sets the calendar, I follow the schedule that they set up for me. Even though I'm the leader of the organization, I follow that schedule because that's the role that I gave that person. Or that's the role that that person has. Same with human resources, right? I follow the rules and the standards that human resources put in place. You know what I mean? That's what leaders do. Leaders respect other people's roles and follow their lead in their specific areas while they set up the vision for everyone to follow. And then they lead by example. They hold people accountable when they're not doing what's necessary in their role. A leader is a lot of things, has a lot of responsibility, and of course, it falls back on the leader. Always. And the leader has to be ready to accept that responsibility. I don't think Tim Hardaway Jr. has the mental makeup to do it. I'm not sure about KP yet. I think he has the mental makeup to do it. Not showing up to the exit interview. I'll say it like this. Well, I don't think it showed a sign of good leadership. He had the mindset of a leader, which I think is a good thing. So I will give him that. But leadership, guys, and of course, leadership extends beyond basketball. It extends to everything that's around us. So, learn how to be a leader, serve other people, and you will be a leader. But I'm out, and I will see you guys Tuesday night, 10:30. So for those who don't know, 10:30. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification bell. You get a notification every time that I go live. Talk to you later. Peace.